former president standing before a crowd and telling foreign nationals to leave the country. A senior leader of the governing party publicly calling those remarks irresponsible. And a nation already struggling with unemployment, crime, political division, and social tension finding itself once again at the center of a heated debate over immigration, leadership, and accountability. That is exactly the controversy now unfolding in South Africa. Because ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula has openly criticized former President Jacob Zuma, accusing him of making reckless statements about foreign nationals and using his influence in a way that could further inflame tensions across the country. And while political disagreements are nothing new in South Africa, this particular clash has triggered serious questions. What responsibility do political leaders have when speaking about immigration? Can words from influential figures contribute to social unrest? And why is this dispute emerging at a time when anti-foreigner sentiments are already becoming a major political issue? Before we continue, make sure you like this video and subscribe so you never miss important developments and breaking political stories shaping South Africa and the continent.
And you have actually gone extreme and said that Mabang. His people have owned up to this membership. His Secretary General have called me and the President by name in defense of illegal activities. They have not stood up for principle. I've listened to people very well. I've listened to the King. The King is very responsible. It's very clear, the King, let government address immigration, but don't do this and that. Jacob Zuma is an elder in this country. He was a president. South Africans are failing to hold him accountable for things that he does and which happened under his watch. And he knows the difficulties of immigration that we're dealing with. And today, he's joining the fray, not responsibly, irresponsibly, as an elderly person, statesman, a man who was a president in this country. Stand up on platform and fuel violence. Come on, bang. Get 30 years. How can a person who was a leader not so long, call for violence in the country? Does he know what will happen here? Who wants this violence that is being purported here? These people don't know what they are talking about. He is supporting them for political reasons because he wants votes. There are many ways to win votes. He won votes. People followed him. He crippled the ANC, big numbers in Gauteng and KZN. He didn't do that by violence. Why will you encourage ordinary South Africans to fight other Africans who are illegal in your country? What is that going to end with? All of us, we should be looking at the state to increase its capacity to deal with this phenomenon. That's what is important. Are the issues that have been raised about illegal immigrants in our country not genuine, not real? They are real, they are truthful. We live amongst our people. I was giving you examples here. These things, you know them yourselves. I'm not talking about stuff that I don't know. And then Samkele asked, don't we think the ANC has failed South Africans in relation to this, in relation to this particular matter of illegal immigration and all of that? Failure will be the simplest way of saying ANC government has actually failed. But the fact of the matter is that the matter is more complex than that. It's more complex than that. And therefore, it needs to be attended to vehemently. We've been dealing with this thing since we came into power. Even before we came into power. Africans have come into this country in the city of gold. and work in the mines. The Basotho nationals, Botswana, the Zimbabweans, the Mozambicans have worked in the mines. And some of them refused to be unionized under the National Union of Mine Workers and subjected themselves to the exploitation of the mining companies in our country. And therefore they were protected. It is the ANC that came into power and undermined that and unionized in the mines and recognized the unions. You remember the black and black violence, amaXhosa, nabatswana, namachangani in the mines. Because of what? Of scab work. When others who are South Africans championed strikes in the mines, those who came from outside the country who were illegal and foreign nationals did not strike, and they were used as scab labor in our country. It is perpetuated now in our streets through the porous borders. And when the economies of Zimbabwe collapsed, we then witnessed the unprecedented amount of Africans crossing the Limpopo River, among crocodiles coming into our country with children, crossing to South Africa for survival. When Robert Mugabe fought for land redistribution in Zimbabwe, and Zimbabwe subjected to sanctions and paralyzed to the ground, when Zimbabwe was the breadbasket of the African continent, and Zimbabweans did not need to come to South Africa to look for jobs, including petty jobs working in our homes, because they were satisfied in Zimbabwe. There are mines in Zimbabwe. Breadbasket, they were working in the fields in Zimbabwe. They came into our country after Mugabe, forcefully, after 10 years of the Lancaster collapse, that now we are taking land. And they said Mugabe is doing land grab. Tony Blair and the United States of America withdrew the economic support and investment in Zimbabwe and collapsed the Zimbabwean economy. But they still exploit the natural resources of Zimbabwe. Zimbabweans, the whole country is here in South Africa. We had to even include exemption permits for Zimbabweans. Why are Botswana nationals not here in South Africa? In their numbers, they are happy in Botswana. Swazis, Abesotho, they are there, Koditabemu, Samshwesh. Others are still here, but they are there in their countries in numbers. Why are they here?